Welcome back everyone, Zeke Morgan here, and today is another exciting My Thoughts On video. Today we're going to be focused on Resident Evil 6, which is an action-adventure, third-person shooter, developed and published by Capcom all the way back in 2012. It was released on the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, as well as being re-released in March 2016 for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, included with all the downloadable content. Basically the story revolves around 4 interwoven storylines that you can choose to play in any particular order. You've got characters from the previous Resident Evils making a comeback, such as Chris Redfield, who's a former member and founder of the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, hopefully I got that right, known as the BSAA. You've got Leon S. Kennedy, which we haven't seen since Resident Evil 4, who's a Raccoon City survivor and agent for the US government. We've got a new character, Jake Muller, who's an illegitimate son of a previous bad guy in the Resident Evil franchise. I'm not going to say who, just because that is a little bit of a spoiler throughout the game. An associate of Sherry Birkin then. Basically Sherry Birkin is also a survivor from Raccoon City as well, and she first appeared, I believe, in Resident Evil 2. We also have then, coming back then, Ada Wong, who's a freelance agent framed by sort of working out some things with Neo Umbrella. And basically, as I said, this is all sort of interwoven storylines with the newly developed C virus, which is sort of a bioorganic virus that turns people into zombies, for want of a better word there. So with it, as I said, it all revolves around these interwoven storylines for these different 4 campaigns. As we said, you can approach these in any particular way that you want. You haven't got to go them chronologically. With them, they are somewhat similar, that you are trying to find out a little bit more about the C virus. You're trying to clear your name in certain circumstances, such as Ada's campaign there. With it, they have adopted the third-person shooting style, and you can move while shooting, which I'm not going to say is a relatively new thing for the Resident Evil franchise, but it definitely makes a comeback on this particular game. It's quite nice. It's always nice to be able to sort of move and shoot. I know that sounds pretty silly with all the games nowadays, but it does make a comeback for this, and it is quite helpful to do. Each central character then that you play across these interwoven story arcs has unique abilities which sort of vary from increased loading time to carry more ammunition. It does have some innovation in gameplay mechanics, such as rolling in any direction and running while shooting and sliding, and it also features a 4-player cooperative mode there for you, with a sort of drop-in, drop-out sort of single-player and multiplayer campaign mode. With it as well, you do also have sort of quick-time events within the gameplay. These can be used to avoid enemy attacks, or to do certain melee attacks on particular enemies then, and that instead of pretty much the old functionality of the healing items, the green herbs, these are now combined into tablets that your characters do take and regains their health for it, as you have done in previous Resident Evils for you. It does also feature 2 new sort of modes for you. You've got the standard mercenary mode, which you can see up on the screen right now. I'm currently playing with another online player, Wesker Q86. Really nice. And it does also feature a sort of a sub-mode there called No Mercy, which is actually then fighting a total of 300 enemies against a timer, and I will stick up a video about that sometime soon. It's really hectic, and I definitely wouldn't try doing it unless you have done these sort of zombie sort of mercenaries mode before. Otherwise it is quite strange to get into. You do need to sort of keep your wits about you and utilize your character's abilities as quickly as possible. So, what more to say about it? As I said, they do have the new mechanics for it. That's quite nice. I don't overly like the idea of the tablets. I think they sort of went off with the Resident Evil franchise on that for you. The interwoven storylines, while they are good in that you can tackle them in any particular order, it does sort of give certain points away, that if you're going through one of the franchises, let's take for example Jake's and Sherry's campaign there, you will come across an enemy that you do actually have to fight in Leon and Helena's campaign. Even though this isn't necessarily a bad thing, I, as I said, do feel this gives something away, that you're playing their chapters, sort of knowing, sort of in the back of your mind especially, that you have to go through this again. The other bad thing that I sort of do want to mention there is it doesn't feel like a survival horror game as we are used to it. This is definitely more geared towards being, as we said, the action-adventure shooter that they have marketed it for. Sort of lovers of the Resident Evil franchise will see this, and there is sort of mixed views about this. It has scored quite nicely across the boards. For example, IGN gave it a 7.9 out of 10, Eurogamer 6 out of 10, we've got 8.75 out of 10 for Game Informer. Sort of the main criticisms from it are coming over those interwoven campaign stories. So for example, Simon Parkin from the Eurogamer cited Leon's campaign as the strongest and the closest that we get to the series' survival horror roots, with Ada's being diverse flavour. However, Parkin also criticised the other two campaigns, stating that Jake's rarely delights and Chris's was a second-rate third-person sprint in idiotic cutscene dialogue. One of the main different things that they have done, as you can see I just did there, is sort of quick time events for certain actions throughout the game. This can be dodging enemies' attacks or using them against them. That is a nice sort of thing to do in the game, and a nice little improvement that I would hopefully like to see in its sequel then, Resident Evil 7, which is being released in January 2017. If you haven't actually seen the demo to that, I have also left that video on my channel as well. It is one of those, it's definitely going to be sort of more like a Marmite moment. You're either going to love this game for its interwoven story arcs, its mercenaries mode, pretty much all the things that it allows you to do that you haven't been able to do in potential previous Resident Evils, or you're going to absolutely hate it because it is a step away from its roots. It's always very sort of iffy on that. With it, obviously, with the classic Resident Evil franchise as well, you're going to get the different enemies, which will do different things, and the different variations with it as well, including soldiers, firefighters, and normal zombie enemies that you would have. One bad thing that has just popped into my mind then as well is the bioorganic weapons. Each of the campaigns do feature a main bioorganic weapon, a main bad guy that you will have to defeat or come across at some point. These don't really feel that varied for me. Each of the campaigns will have sort of a running segment that you have to get away from it. Each will have an enemy at some point that you can't defeat, for want of a better word, with just being on your own. You will need some help or some advanced weapons on it. One of the good things about the campaigns as well is how different characters interact, how different characters have each of the weapons. So even if you do go through a campaign, it is sort of influence you, making you want to go through the other campaigns, even if it's just to try out the other weapons that the other characters have. And obviously Mercenaries mode, a staple of the recent Resident Evils there. It's always great fun. I've sunk I don't know how many hours actually into the Mercenaries mode, especially in this game, trying it all out, especially with the No Mercy mode. That's a quite nice additional extra that I didn't try out until quite recently. And again, the video of that will be up on the channel in the next few weeks. I hope you enjoy it. Obviously, we would absolutely love to hear your comments about Resident Evil 6. Did you enjoy it? If you didn't, why didn't you? And if you did, let us know why. Also, leave a comment below what your favourite Resident Evil is. Mine is Resident Evil 4, and I'm absolutely delighted that we are having that re-released on next-gen consoles. Then at the end of August, I absolutely can't wait to play that and give it a try. If you're looking forward to anything, again, let me know in the comment suggestion. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a like, comment, share and subscribe. That's it for me, and as always, hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day now. Goodbye.